himself, unlike your prophet, who looked at Aisha at the age of 6 and lusted for her, and raped her and molested her, who saw a blind man and threw him on the wayside and went for the rich man. People questioning him, what kind of guy is this doing that? Your Quran saying, when you see them, force them into the narrowest alley, thinking all kind of evil, how you can humiliate, degrade, and disgrace them. Our Bible saying, love your enemy. Jesus saying, love your enemy. Nowhere would he ever think these things. Filthy, low-class Muslims. You are willing to disgrace Jesus to try and make Muhammad look better. Filthy people you are. And shame on you for doing such a thing. Nowhere was he picked up and put on the mountain. Jesus walked with him up onto the mountain. There's nothing sinful about walking on God's earth and walking around. Are you seriously trying to say that that's a sin? So he walked with him up there, and then he tried to tempt him. But he could not. So where was the temptation? Are you trying to say the sin was walking around? These are your arguments. Well, we believe that God showed his glory and became a man to teach us so we can learn from his example. So that he can so also on Judgment Day, and also to show us who he is as the one true living God. Not like your God who nobody has ever seen and nobody knows about. And the Quran says he has a leg, but we have no idea what it looks like, says Muslims. We cannot say, God, you don't know what it's like to be human, to be tempted. You don't know what it's like to have to suffer. Whereas your God just sits on the throne and everybody serves him, and he does nothing for anybody. But our God sympathizes with us, because he is love. Not the one who brings pedophile prophets to misguide the world and make the Middle East a hellhole. It is because of Islam that the Middle East is such a garbage place to live. Now, again, we say that God showed his glory in the form of a man, but he is spirit, and right you were for saying that. Well, chapter 68 verse 42 of the Quran says that Allah has a leg. If you ask Muslims, is the leg of Allah attached to his butt? They say no, it's not, which means you just worship a leg, a shin. According to Sahih Bukhari, Muhammad is explaining this verse, saying that Allah will uncover his shin on the day of judgment, and the unbelievers will not be able to prostrate to them. But the prophets will say this is the shin of Allah. So you agree that you don't believe Allah is spirit either. Or sorry, you don't believe Allah is spirit as well. And so, he is a physical leg. And just a leg, because you disagree that he has a butt. Muslims say, oh, it's not like any leg here on earth. Okay, I agree, but it's still a leg. So you reject Jesus coming to us, God coming to us in the form of a man, yet your God is a leg. How do you Muslims worship a leg as God? And say that he is Akbar? He's a big leg. Okay. So you reject Jesus as God, but you worship a leg. This is the wisdom of Islam. Himself. So open your eyes and open your minds to the spiritual truth of what I'm trying to say to you here. Clearly, Jesus is not God. He was tempted into evil. He didn't do evil. As you said, he was tempted into evil, but he did not do evil. And lastly, Satan, for a year, although some Muslims will say it's 6 months, controlled Muhammad.
I personally believe Muhammad was controlled all the time.
What kind of God do you have that doesn't protect his prophets? What kind of prophet are you following that was tempted by Satan? And we have these satanic verses. Where I compare uses of the Quran and uses of the Bible, you'll clearly see here that Jesus did sin according to the Bible, not according to the Quran. Jesus is much more of a perfect and holy person, but the biblical Jesus is one that has a lot of problems, and that's been dealt with in the other video. Let me give you a verse from the Holy Quran to tell you who God is and who God isn't. What a liar. Chapter 112, verse 1. Say, He is Allah, meaning God, the one and only. Eternal, absolute, he begetteth not, nor is he begotten, and there is none like unto him. Qul huwallahu ahad, Allahu samad, lam yalid wa lam yulad, wa lam yakun lahu kufuwan. Let me ask you this. If God is all-powerful, as you claim, if your God is all-powerful, can he become a man? The Muslims say, no, he's not. Then he is not all-powerful. Now, we believe in one God, who expressed his glory in 3 forms. We do not believe in 3 gods. This is why we say, our Father who is in heaven, not our fathers. We have one God who is eternal, who stands on the other side of death in victory. Where is your God? He has a leg, yet Muslims say he doesn't have a spirit. What do we call somebody who doesn't have a spirit or a soul? We call them a dead person. Your God is a physical being, as we saw in 68 verse 42 of the Quran, yet is not a spirit. Meaning, your God is a dead God, who does not speak to anybody, who has never spoken to anybody, according to your religion. So who knows who he is? Nobody has seen him. Nobody has heard him. He only speaks to, supposedly, this angel Gabriel.
Oh, well, I'm sorry. There's the story of Muhammad going on the flying donkey, flying through space, going up to heaven and talking to Allah, and making a deal with Allah. You know, he wanted them to pray 20 times a day, and then they went back, and Moses, being a Jewish person, tried to bargain with, saying, go back, bargain. Nobody's going to want to pray 20 times a day, make it 10, and then go back 10. Oh no, make it 5. Yeah, and that's why you pray 5 times a day. Oh, I forgot that story, because, you know, that's really easy to believe. Somebody going up on a flying donkey through space to God. The limousine of Allah is Pegasus.
Your God is.
Here's another interesting thing I just recalled from that verse you just recited from the Quran. Say, what did you say? Say Allah is...
There is none like unto him. Eternal, absolute. He begetteth not, nor is he begotten. And there is none like unto him.
Well, isn't the Quran supposed to be the words of Allah? So why isn't he saying, say, I am he, I am Allah, and there is none other like me. I do not beget, nor am I begotten. So you just proved in this 100% that the Quran is not the word of Allah, the word of God. It's not even the word of Allah, who is Satan. Actually, yeah, it's the word of Satan, that's for sure. Because only Satan will tell you in 4 verse 43, how to beat a wife. 65 verse 4, how to divorce little girls. 9 verse 29, how to go fight, hate, and kill people. Yeah, well, that's it. Let's hear what he says at the end.
The English translation with the Arabic original. Peace be upon you. Assalamu alaikum.
Alright, well, that's enough. See you later, guys. Take care.